He's in his 5th year as Chief Executive Officer of the prestigious Allstate Sugar Bowl and has presided over a national championship game. The Sugar Bowl will feature a national quarterfinal game this season. And of course, prior to ascending to CEO, he served 25 years with the outstanding organization that supports amateur athletics like no other entity in Louisiana. Started as an assistant executive director in 1993, moved to associate in 1995, and COO in 2006. Previously served at the University of Georgia Athletic Association. He's a native of Creston, Iowa. He earned Hall of Fame honors after being All-State in football and basketball. Has a degree from Iowa and a master's from Western Illinois. Of course, as mentioned, the Allstate Sugar Bowl in the rotation, and we're blessed to keep New Orleans sweet. And a quarterfinal game this year we're looking forward to. He'll tell you all about it. We'll also have a graphic on the screen about what's to come with the new playoff system, 12 teams. Please give a warm welcome to our good and great friend and supporter, Jeff Hundley. Jeff.
JR, I want you to know that the transfer portal hasn't only affected y'all, it's affected bowl games too. The process, we've had a couple of rough ones when we weren't a playoff game, but good afternoon, everyone. It's good to be with you. Congratulations, Eli and coaches here for continuing down the playoff trail. We're excited. I hope you both end up in the Superdome here. We're proud to help sponsor the state championship games in the Dome every year, so we always look forward to that. Tulane and LSU, good luck the rest of the way. We'll have a little more probably to talk about Tulane when we look at a potential bracket. When I was here last year, we had just kicked off our 90th anniversary celebration called Keep New Orleans Sweet. The purpose was to generate revenue that would keep us competitive. If you're paying any attention at all in college athletics, all decisions right now are being made around money. And as the number 50th demographic DMA in the country, you know, we're fighting above our weight class as a city and as a bowl game to try and stay competitive. During the couple of years since the 12-team playoff was announced, we watched as cities like Las Vegas, and Nashville, and Houston that are a lot bigger corporate bases with a lot deeper pockets than we have here in New Orleans, trying to steal away our spot in the playoff rotation. So we've been fast about it. Since I last year kind of laid that all out for you, I figured just a quick status update. We've made some progress. The good news is that we're getting in some doors here around town that we hadn't previously been able to get into. We've had some people step up to help us. I'm not going to name names, but we've got people in this room who've stepped up and helped us. And so we're really grateful for all that. And at the end of the day, we're competitors as much as anybody else at the Sugar Bowl, and so we're planning to be there standing. Since we met a year ago, we also had a college football playoff semifinal game with Texas and Washington. Very successful game, highly rated on television, sold out, had a $265 million economic impact for the city. That combined with all other Sugar Bowl events, if you're not familiar, we sponsor and promote all sorts of youth and high school sporting events throughout the year, everything from AAU volleyball, AAU basketball, regattas, swimming, golf, tennis, etc., all for the purpose of driving tourism in the city. And add that to that, we were almost at a $400 million economic impact total last year for the city and state. So hopefully that's something that you all take pride in. We certainly do at the Sugar Bowl and look forward to more in the future. So since last year, as I told you, we were competing with other cities to try to be a part of the playoff for the future. We have 2 years left on a contract, the original college football playoff contract that started 10 years ago. So we've got a quarterfinal game this year and next year, but we're looking for some security beyond that. This summer, we were offered the deal points on a 6-year extension that coincides with the ESPN television deal with the college football playoff that will provide the schools and conferences that participate $1.3 billion a year as part of the process, and so certainly we were wanting to be in that. When they delivered the deal points to us, here's how the message was delivered. Jeff, we think this is a fair deal, whether it's for the Sugar Bowl or the Rose Bowl or the Las Vegas Sports Authority. So the implied threat there is, if you don't want it, somebody else does, right? So we knew we had to buck up and figure out a way to make it happen. Proud to note that we signed a non-binding term sheet at the end of the summer after much negotiation. The financial terms are a little more onerous, as you might expect, than what we have had for the last 10 years, but certainly we think we can live with those and continue. You know, the biggest impacts for us with the expanded playoff is that we've got a shorter week. So, you know, we don't get, you know, our committee, they love to, they're so hospitable, they love to be able to show off New Orleans, but because of the additional rounds of the playoff, you know, this has become, in many aspects, a business trip for the teams that are participating, from the first round to the quarterfinals to the semifinals, and then ultimately to the national championship game. And so we had to take that in mind. You know, we're doing our best to still put forth a good New Orleans experience for the players. We think they've earned that coming in, albeit they've tied both hands behind our back. We have to, whatever we do, we have to do in the hotels, in the team hotels, going forward. So we've had to get a little creative trying to figure out how we're going to show off New Orleans in a Hilton Riverside ballroom. But we're figuring that out as we go. So in that 6-year extension, I'm pleased to report, I'm probably jumping the gun because it's not official and we don't have a signed contract. We have a non-binding term sheet at this point in time, but assuming we're able to get to a contract at the end of the day, we will have, over that 6-year period, we'll host 3 national semifinal games and 3 quarterfinal games during the period, all of which are going to bring, you know, 20 million plus eyeballs. You know, if you've ever watched one of the playoff games on ESPN, you see what a great infomercial it is for the city of New Orleans. It always shows us at our best, going, you know, as they telecast the game. So that's basically, we look at that as free advertising for the city, and it's important, you know, that we continue to be able to bring that. One of the nuances, I guess, of the deal starting 2 years from now is, and I alluded to that last year when I spoke, but because of the additional rounds of the playoff and concerns over how fan bases will or won't travel from round to round to round, because it's, you know, let's face it, it's not inexpensive to do that sort of travel, you know, multiple occasions during the holiday season. We're going to have 5,000 additional tickets that need to be sold locally. And so we're going to be in an all-out push to get you as the local community to step up and help us. What's at stake there is we can't afford to have empty seats. One, for the financial dynamics, but 2, over 50% of the athletic directors surveyed right now want to play the entire playoff on campus, as opposed to playing in bowl games. We think there's all sorts of problems with that, but it gives them, it adds more value to their season ticket packages. It gives them another opportunity to be in front of their donors, and if you're lucky enough to host, you got the home field advantage. So there's some merit behind that, and the quickest way we can earn ourselves kicked out of the process is to not be full when the game gets here. So we're going to be pushing hard. We've started a sales effort to help us do that going forward. And I feel like it's going to be good. This year we're a quarterfinal game. We sold out the first weekend. that we went on sale. So, but I also experienced that when the playoff first began. We had a semifinal that first year. Anything that's new and shiny and pretty, you know, people jump all over it, but we had to work a little harder as we went down to subsequent semifinal games in that first 10-year period. But we're fast at it, and you know, feel good, all things considered. I'll feel a lot better and sleep a lot better when we have an actual signed contract on this deal, but we're getting close. We also, I'm happy to report that we're working hand in glove with the New Orleans Sports Foundation to try and bring another national championship game to New Orleans. We're specifically targeting 2028. For those of you who are keeping track, the last 4 times that we've hosted the national championship game here, LSU's been in the game. And they won 3 out of 4 of those games in the process. But those games don't come for free. Last time we hosted, it's just 4 years ago, in 2020, the game cost $11.5 million to host. So we have to raise all that, and we have to do so without a penny of ticket revenue, because the playoff keeps every penny of the ticket revenue. So you got to go out and raise that. Well, the combination of inflation and additional requests or demands of the playoff people, organizers, it's a $20 million endeavor in 2028 going forward. Last time in 2020, the Sugar Bowl stepped up and put $5.6 million of its own money towards that $11.5 million expense, because it couldn't raise the additional, all the funds otherwise. And right now we're on target to spend $6 million more of our reserve fund to help bring the 2028 game there. We don't get any of that back. We look at it as a gift to the city in order to bring a major sporting event here. And it's actually, if we want to keep our annual spot at the top, it's almost a requirement. You have to figure out a way to bring the national championship game if you want to be in the playoff mix on an annual basis. So we'll be fast about that effort. Hopefully we'll have an announcement on that sometime early in 2025. It's not done by any stretch, but we feel good about where we're at, given the conversations that have taken place between us and the college football playoff people going forward. I thought, I don't want to assume anything with folks here, but we're going to look at the bracket and talk about it, because it's new this year, and it operates a little differently. It's a 12-team college football playoff, and it doesn't go just by rankings. It's not automatically the top 12 teams. The way it works, the first 5 teams into the bracket are conference champions. The 5 highest ranked conference champions get slotted into the bracket. The 4 highest ranked get buys into the quarterfinals. So in this scenario, and we're using, for the sake of this exercise, we're using this week's AP rankings and making some assumptions about the highest ranked team being the conference champion at the end of the day. So Oregon's ranked number 1 as the Big Ten champion. You see where they're slotted. The second seed is Texas, which would be the SEC champion. Even though they're ranked 3rd, they get the second seed. The 3rd seed is the ACC champion Miami, who you see is ranked 8th right now. And then the 4th seed is the Mountain West Conference champion Boise State, ranked 11th. I spoke to a group a couple of weeks ago and pointed out Boise State, and somebody raised their hand and said that I misspelled Tulane. So hopefully that's the case, because there still is an avenue for Tulane to get into the bracket and the playoff, depending on how the games shake out over the next week and the conference championship games. Then the 5th conference champion would be the Big 12 champion, and because they're ranked 14th, they drop into the number 12 spot there. Everybody else then is ranked they're seeded according to their ranking. And for us, we'd be looking at a Texas game. I need to clarify that too. This year and next year, by virtue of the contract that we're in, the Sugar Bowl gets the higher ranked of the SEC or the Big 12 champion. As we sit here today, Texas is ranked higher than Arizona State, so we would have Texas. And in the first 10 years of the playoff, the SEC's been the higher ranked of those two conferences 10 out of 10 years. So we feel good about our chances there. It's the regionality and the long-standing tie. The Sugar Bowl has ties to the Southeastern Conference dating back to its very first game in 1935. So, that's something we're proud of, and it's important to our, long-term stability to be able to maintain that. Then you see how it plays out from there. The national, we would have the Notre Dame SMU winner. We have to wait. We'll know who our first team is on Selection Sunday, December 8th. But we won't know who the second team is until the first round games are played on December 20th and 21st, which means we've got a lot shorter window to get ready for the teams and the fan bases and bands and the fundraising groups and everybody that comes in town. But, excuse me, we've been working on it for more than a year to get ready for this, so we'll be ready when the time comes. But that's a little inside the 12-team playoff. They're projecting 22 million viewers for our quarterfinal game, 24 for semifinals, and between 28 and 30 for the national championship game going forward. So those are real numbers in terms if you follow television viewership at all. So we're excited to be part of it. Because of the finances, we've actually had board members at the Sugar Bowl committee, and it's a fair question. Ask, do we really want to be in it? And the answer is it's a lot better being in than out. And if it was so good on the outside of the playoff, why are people like Las Vegas and Nashville and who have bowl games trying to get in? So we're doing what we can to stay, in the fight. For us, what's at stake, in addition to just a 90-year-old tradition and history, is all the community good that the Sugar Bowl Committee's been able to do. I mentioned, the community, the sporting events, youth and high school events that we support, but we've since 2019 we've worked with the College Football Playoff Foundation to provide $5 million in the support of Orleans Parish public school teachers. That whole workforce was turning over every 3 years, and you can't sustain anything positive when that's taking place. And we've made some big results and steps forward with that, a recruiting, recognition, and retention program that we're working on there. We're getting ready to, excuse me, put a new field in at Joe Brown Park out in New Orleans East. We're working with Nike on that going forward. We've done over $1 million in scholarships in the last decade for deserving boys and girls who've done well in the classroom and on the field or on the court. So, if things go well, we'll be able to continue to do those things. If they don't, those would probably be the first things that go by the wayside. So, with that said, thank you for your support. Ask for your support as we go forward, and wish everybody good luck and Godspeed. Thank you.